We'll call to order the City of Douglasville's City Council regular voting meeting for tonight, which is Monday, May the 19th, 2025. Our invocation will be done by Associate Pastor Andrew Dickinson of First Presbyterian Church of Douglasville. After that, good evening, we'll have our Mayor Pro Tem lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand for the invocation.
As you are able, please join me in a word of prayer. Gracious God, we thank you for the gift of this day, for the spring season with its vitality and growth so evident around us, the new life, the beautiful bird song we hear in our neighborhoods. We thank you for these reminders of your goodness and faithfulness to us. We thank you for the opportunity to gather today, for health and strength and purpose in the work that we do together. We thank you for every person that makes up our community. We pray for the council meeting this evening, for Mayor Robinson and Mayor Pro Tem Miller and the councillors who work with them. We remember the various departments that serve our community and their staff members who labor diligently on our behalf. Be a help and guide for them, both in their home and vocational lives. We thank you for the rich diversity of individuals and groups, businesses, charities, and faith-based organizations that make up our city. Help us recognize and value the role we all play in making Douglasville a great place to live and learn and work. Empower us with your goodness, that we may know the joy of building a community that nurtures the well-being of all. And we ask these things in your holy name. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem and Pastor Dickinson. We really appreciate the invocation. That was a beautiful prayer. And happy spring. Yes, sir. Thank you so much. I'd like to welcome you to the Douglasville City Council. My name is Rochelle Robinson. I'm mayor of the city of Douglasville. Tonight's meeting of the agenda items that we discussed last week, tonight's meeting will take official action on those items that were discussed last week. If the business you're here for is not listed as an agenda item, there will be ample time under the agenda items, comments from citizens and delegates for you to discuss your business. I'll go over a few of the protocol issues that we present every time we have our meetings so that we'll all be on the same page and we won't have any misunderstandings. I ask that you would please keep your comments and presentations on a professional level, dealing with the facts that are important for this governing body to make our decisions. We will ask that you would not make comments that are considered by the chair to be of a personal attack on any individual or group of individuals. You'll receive a warning from the chair. If you deviate from this requirement, a second deviation will result in a request of asking you to leave the premises. Only one person speaking at a time. Please do not applaud or react to speakers. Speak from the audience, cheer, carry on a conversation, or have any other thing to be deterrent to the person speaking at the podium. This is when you come to the podium, we ask that you would address your concerns to myself and council members and not turning around talking to the audience. If we have any printed materials, we ask that you'll please give those to our Assistant City Clerk, Ms. Candace, and she will make copies and disseminate that information to us. If you have a cell phone or electronic device, we ask that you will please put those in silent mode or turn those off so they will not be disruptive during the meeting. Now, I will go over how the meeting is going to run. It'll be a little different from this past Thursday, as it will go a little quicker because this is a voting meeting and we've already discussed the information. But if you have anything new to add to the table that has not been already said during public hearings, you're welcome to come to the microphone and present that information. The agenda items will be handled in the following manner. The committee chairperson will read his or her agenda item, then that person representing that agenda item or applicant will make his or her presentation. Myself and council members will possibly ask clarifying questions before we vote. If there is a public hearing, there are two sides, of course, to do presentations. If you would like to speak, you have 5 minutes to speak, but in totality, each side has 20 minutes. 20 minutes for those in favor of the item and 20 minutes for those in opposition. Each person has one opportunity to speak. If you would like to speak, we ask that you would fill out a speaker card. There are blue cards outside on the desk. You fill out your name and address for the record, bring it forward, hand it to the city clerk, and she will put the information in the official records for the city of Douglasville. When you come to the podium, we ask that you would give your name and address that should replicate whatever you've given to the assistant city manager, in this case, Ms. Candace, and then you can speak to us for 5 minutes, anything germane to the city of Douglasville. It's a lot of talking. Hopefully, we all are on the same page. If you would like to have a paper agenda, there are some outside on the desk. If not, you can follow us on the screen, and we will move forward with the agenda as it is printed and presented to us. We're at item number 5 now, which is adoption of the regular meeting agenda for May 19th, 2025. So I will open the floor and ask for a motion to approve item 25-192.
So moved.
Thank you, not Mayor Pro Tem, but Councilmember Estes. I have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
I had a dueling second. Who do we get, Ms. Candace? Mayor Pro Tem. I'm a clairvoyant. I knew he was going to say second. No. So it's been properly moved by Councilmember Estes and second by Mayor Pro Tem to approve item 25-192. Do we have any questions, comments, concerns, anything about the agenda this evening from the elected officials? I don't see any. All those in favor of approving this item, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. 25-192 is unanimously approved. Now we'll move on to item number 6, which is approval of the minutes. And it reads, minutes of May 1st, 2025, legislative work session. Minutes of May 5th, 2025, which include the budget hearing, budget workshop, day 1, regular meeting and executive session, and the minutes of May 6, 2025, which also include the budget workshop, day 2. So this is item 25-193. I will open the floor for a motion to approve, please. Thank you, Councilmember Watts. I have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember Estes. It's been properly moved in second to approve item 25-193. Do council members see any corrections, deletions, any concerns as it relates to the approval of the minutes? I don't see any. All those in favor of approving the minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. 25-193 is unanimously approved. Now we'll move on to the consent agenda, which is item number 7. I will open the floor for a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Thank you, Councilmember Estes. I have a motion to approve the consent agenda. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. It's been properly moved in second to approve the consent agenda. Does any of the council members, and that is all of the items concluded, do any of the council members have concerns about the consent agenda as presented? I don't see any. All those in favor of approving this item, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The consent agenda is approved as presented. We're at item number 8, which is Economic Development Committee. That's chaired by Mayor Pro Tem City Councilmember Terry Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business under the Economic Development Committee at this time.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. Finance Committee, chaired by Councilmember Chris Watts.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business tonight under Finance.
Thank you so much, Finance Chair. Thank you, Mr. Jenkins. Housing and Community Affairs Committee, chaired by Councilmember Howard Estes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business tonight for the Housing and Community Affairs Committee.
Thank you, sir. Legislative and Intergovernmental Committee, chaired by Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business under the Legislative and Intergovernmental Committee at this time.
Thank you so much. We'll go back to Councilmember Estes for Personnel and Organization Committee.
Thank you again, Madam Mayor. We also have no business for the Personnel and Organization Committee tonight.
Thank you so much. Everything is getting on the consent agenda. So we'll move on to the next committee, which would be item number 13, Planning and Development Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Nicole Miller. There is business there.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're welcome.
We do have a couple of items this evening. The first is item 25-212. Says to consider a request for variance from section 5.05 of the Unified Development Ordinance to increase the maximum principal building height from 60 feet to 75 feet for 2.526 acres located on 1435 Municipal Parkway in Land Lot 735, District 18, Section 2, Parcel ID 0017, application by Craig Wire Products. And Mr. Dana Gray is down here to go over this item with us.
Good evening, Dana Gray, 6695 Church Street. And again, this is a variance to increase the height from 60 feet to 75 feet. On Thursday's meeting, you asked about the tower and heating element. So it is an element that is insulated to contain the heat, and it has an outer layer. You also asked about the fire, if fire weighed in on this. They will require an apparatus access lane. The applicant did spend some time talking to them about that, so they can provide that access lane for fire. So during the development plan, they will meet all the requirements that fire has for that lane.
Thank you so much for that. Okay, so then if we do move forward with this item, do we need to put that in as a condition?
It's part of the, you can, but it's part of the requirements when it does get reviewed by
Okay.
fire.
Okay, got it. Just wanted to make sure. And did the applicant have anything that they wanted to add to this?
Evening, everyone. Joe Fowler, Post Office Box 49, Douglasville. Nothing to add. We did speak with the fire department, talked at length about how we can deal with the fire lane issues. We're continuing to work on that. So thank you.
Thank you for that. Okay. Council, do you guys have any questions? Madam Mayor?
Thank you so much, Madam Chair, and thank you for presenting Mr. Gray and Attorney Fowler. I know we addressed it, and I think the applicant did say that there will not be in the future, that he was foresee in the foreseeable near future where you would have to extend the height any further or any higher based on new technology or whatever's presented. I know that you had gone someplace else in the world, and this is best practices at moving from 60 to 75 feet, but we would not have to move to 85 feet in the next 5 years or so.
Brett Portwood, 1055 Shaddocks Industrial Way.
Yes, sir.
Madam Chair, no. This is the final after reviewing companies in Europe that sell this specific equipment. That is the height that we need to attain.
So that's sufficient.
Mhm.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Absolutely. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Were there any other questions?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Madam Chair, I just want to clarify, I think Mr. Gray said that we'll deal with the fire lane issue at the presentation of the development plan. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, let me make sure I heard that right.
That-
Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, if there are no further questions, I appreciate Mr. Gray getting that information for us this week that we needed so that we could look at this item a little better. And thank you for coming up with the solutions for it as well. If there are no other questions, you guys, I make a motion that we approve item 25-212.
Thank you so much, Madam Chairman. I have a motion to approve. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you. I had dueling seconds. Who did I get, Ms. Candace? Mayor Pro Tem? All right. It's been properly moved in second to approve item 25-212, moved by the Chair, Councilmember Miller, and second by Mayor Pro Tem Miller. Do we have any additional comments or questions from council? I don't see any. All those in favor of approving this item, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. 25-212 is unanimously approved.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're welcome.
Our next couple of items are really all together, so if it's
Congratulations.
okay, I'm going to read them all off together, and then we can have one conversation and then vote separately. Am I
Okay.
understanding that correctly? I think we can do that.
That's good.
So that next item being item 25-213 says to consider a request for a variance from section 4.08 of the Unified Development Ordinance to allow the canopy accessory structure to be placed in the front yard and encroach on the front yard setback at 11 feet on a lot of 1.30 acres at 9465 Highway 5 and Land Lot 160, District 2, Section 5, Parcel ID 0001, application by 1618 Land Holdings. That next item is going to be item 25-214. It says to consider a request for variance from section 4.08 of the Unified Development Ordinance to allow the proposed building to encroach 11.5 feet in the front yard setback of a land lot of 1.30 acres at 9465 Highway 5 and land lot 160, District 2, Section 5, parcel ID 0001, application by 1618 Land Holdings LLC. And then that third item in this one is 25-215, says to consider a request for variance from section 8.01 of the Unified Development Ordinance to reduce the required parking spaces from 56 to 33 parking spaces in a land lot of 1.30 acres located at 9465 Highway 5 and a land lot 160, District 2, Section 5, parcel ID 0001, application by 1618 Land Holdings LLC. And our very own Mr. Dana Gray is down here to go over this item, or these items with us.
Okay.
Thank you.
On Thursday, you requested additional information regarding the traffic study and elevations. The applicant does have elevations, so they should be able to pull up so you can see those. There was a traffic study done for Highway 5 AECom. The result is they would be creating 2 lanes. One is an extra lane, one is a turning lane onto Douglas Boulevard. This would create a situation where part of the building, if not the whole building, would have to be taken to achieve the extra 2 lanes. Made the applicant aware of this, and they are ready to move forward.
Okay, thank you for that. I think I was a little thrown by that at first, but then when I saw the renderings and realized that it's actually the same building is going to be repurposed into the next building, so then it made a little bit more sense to me for that. Does it pose any issues for us, though, or for the state in doing that new work to improve Highway 5 if there's another gas station there as opposed to just being, you know, like a regular business?
It doesn't matter what's there at the time. This could be a 5 to 10 year project. They don't have financing yet, but
Okay.
any business that's there would be affected by this.
Okay, perfect. And did the applicant, do you have anything to add to this at this time? If you'll just give us your name and address for the record.
Terry Boomer, LJA Engineering, 130 East Main Street, Canton, Georgia. I appreciate it. When we left Thursday, there were a few items. One of the items I left out, and I apologize, is the renderings that I can see on the screen. I trust you can as well. I see some reflection in the glasses, so I trust there's a view there. The top elevation is the short side of the building, the front of the building, if you will, with the convenience store on the right and the end cap on the left. The next elevation on the long side of the building, the convenience store shows a few of the glass windows. Those will be full glass most likely. We don't have the floor plan completely worked out yet, but those will probably be up against coolers. And so we don't want the coolers to have windows in them, but we haven't got the floor plan identified just quite yet. And then the remaining new attributes to the building will be the vestibules or the entryways for the tenant spaces. One of the other items that you had, and this is an example of one we just finished in Gwinnett County, where, and it's kind of washed out because he took it at night after he sprayed the parking lot down. It's a nice dramatic effect, but it was the exact same building, repurposed. They painted the brick, cut in the vestibules, the entranceways, and it was 100% occupied day one after the CO. So he's been real successful with these, and we're pretty happy with the results. The last item, and well, one of these at a time, the variance to the structure and the setback, the accessory structure we talked about last time, and I understand that staff is writing a code to address that issue. The next issue was a setback off the side street regarding the rear corner of the building, a little miter, and that was due to a previous take of right-of-way. And then the last item, number D, if that's a number, 215, to reduce the parking spaces. The only thing I'd like to add there is I'd like to read a passage, if I may, if you will entertain me. And this is in regards to, and it's just a quick little blurb, if you will. But we're going to, and I'm going to get something a little bit bigger because I'm older than I thought. So we want to minimize, or minimum parking requirements can be harmful to the character of an area when the number of parking spots supplied by the minimum exceed the demand for parking spaces. In a nutshell, to summarize that excerpt from a corridor land use and transportation study, we got seas of parking lots that are overparked with stripes, but underparked with cars. They're underutilized. And we would like to, and this character area in the study comes from your own website. So we pulled that off your website, and this building, this lot is within that corridor and study area. So we would like to be considered to be parallel or analogous with this study that you commissioned back. Now I've got a date of 2021 from AECOM that did the study, but we would like to be parallel and considered under that. That's all I have that I brought forward today. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Thank you very much. And I know we had addressed last week in the canopy studies, and as a whole, as a city, we are kind of looking at our ordinance to see if that's something that we maybe need to change going forward, because I feel like we've seen quite a few of those in the past, I don't know, maybe a year, or a couple months, I'm not sure. That I understand a little better. I'm curious to, maybe this question might be for Mr. Gray. When we require, I believe did it say 56 parking spots? Where does that formula come from?
It's based on the square footage of the building.
Okay.
So you would break it up for the convenience store, and you might break it up along with the retail stores. But then the retail stores are based on the use. So you can have a dentist's office that might only require four parking spaces. You might have a tax office that may only require 2. You might have someone that wants to bring in a small restaurant of some sort. You might require 10.
Okay.
So that's where the calculation is.
So how do we configure it when we don't know what the tenants are going to be?
Sometimes you have an applicant that has tenants in mind already that might have signed a lease and ready to come in. If you don't, then it's going to be a first come, first served basis on who gets that space first, second, and then third.
Okay.
So,
I guess, I can understand where, that maybe certain types of businesses won't require as many as 56 parking spots, but that does seem like a really drastic change. And when you don't really have a neighboring parking lot to go to, that corner right there, it can be kind of messy at times. Maybe most people would probably tell you they avoid it a lot. So I'm not sure. Council, I'm curious to how y'all feel about that. Help me, Coach.
I was wondering, looking at the aerial, remembering when I've been in that vicinity, are there other ways in and out of that business now and in the future? In other words, is there a back entrance that's coming through? You see the parking lots for the other businesses around it. Is there a way in there and out of there other than right on Highway 5, going out. You know, getting in and getting out, it's a tough location. I just was wondering if there's another way into that business.
Correct. We've got an entrance off of both public roadway frontages and interparcel access up to the shopping center above. There's a rear alley out the back that you can see on the slide that's up and presented today, right now.
Yeah, so that back entrance is what I was wondering about, if that would still be.
It will remain open. All drives are going to remain open as is.
Okay. And you know, your patrons, future patrons, are, you know, they're only going to be able to make a ride in and ride out coming down Highway 5, obviously, and a left in would be difficult unless you came through a couple stores up and come in that back way.
They'll all be right in right
Yeah,
now.
okay, gotcha. All right, thank you, that's all I had.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Madam Chair. To the applicant's point, I've seen, not the study he's referring to, but I've seen other studies that do also point out that we are very overly conservative when we use our square foot ratios to parking space calculations. They do tend to produce way more spaces than are actually needed, especially in mixed-use developments. I think another comparable development that we could look at, similar sizes, where Nancy's Pizza is located. And it's a good example because it's also a mixed-use structure where you've got a restaurant, I think you've got a pool store in there, you've got a copy place. So you have the variety of stores. And there's not a gas station there, but it's also a little bit, but it's about maybe a little bit bigger than this one. So I think there's a good trade-off in terms of looking at it. I don't think I've ever seen that parking lot full. In fact, I think they have fewer spaces than are presented here, if I remember correctly. But there's also overflow in the sense you've got the shopping center behind it, which, again, here you also have overflow. Not that they're never going to come and tell you, say, well, go ahead and use the spaces in the other part, but you know how people work. So I don't think you're ever going to get a situation where every one of those spaces is full. It's not likely.
Okay. Councilman Estes, yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like, to the applicant, when you were going through, you know, describing especially these images that you've added of the similar building that you renovated elsewhere, and you said that was fully leased before you opened. What types of businesses were those secondary spaces leased to?
Yeah, thank you for asking. It's not a pure retail, and if you look at the elevations, there's not a lot of glass there, fenestration, and so we cater to a more service-oriented retail, a more business-type, office-type retail, and not a product that has to have the display in the windows from the parking lot or
Gotcha.
from the roadway so that people come in and say, hey, here's our product. So it could be we have a dentist in the one, as the gentleman indicated, it could be a tax office, but it's not going to be a high-intensity, high-turnover use for retail.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Councilwoman Hudson, did you have anything?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. So I guess then you do not currently have any tenants that are interested in this property for us to get a better idea of what that looks like, or?
We don't have any LOIs as of yet. We wanted to go through this process knowing the amount of variances that we have to go through, and we want to make sure before we advertise that, you know, our reputation and our word is bond.
I understand, but you are, like you mentioned, kind of marketing toward the service
Absolutely,
type business,
yes,
like that's who
yes.
you're marketing to
Yes,
recruit.
yes.
Thank you, I yield.
Okay, thank you. Were there any other questions? No. Let me pose this to, I don't know, council and the applicant as well, because I would like to see what some of these other businesses are doing. As Mayor Pro Tem had mentioned, Nancy's Pizza, and I'm curious if we have any others around the community that are smaller amounts of parking space and how that's working. If it's okay with you all and the applicant, could we maybe table this item and take a moment to see how some of these other businesses are doing it, and then revisit this, like maybe even in the next round of meetings in 2 weeks?
All right. Just quiet.
It-
It's your recommendation, Madam Chair. We have to look for
That-
the dates to table it to.
Well, that is, but I'm asking if that works. If we do that, would that work for your timeline as well?
It's not going to adversely affect our timeline if the meetings are available due to spring break and all. If there's calendar items, we'll entertain that, sure, absolutely.
Okay, staff.
We're not here to aggressively throw this down anybody's throat. You know, we want to make we want to be a good neighbor, and we want to be a good fit for your city.
I appreciate that, and I guess it's just such a substantial amount of parking spots to decrease it by. I just want to make sure that that we're not overstepping and creating a larger issue over
Sure,
there.
Sure.
Staff, would that be okay?
It's at the pleasure of mayor and council to table. The next round of meetings will be May 29th and June 2nd round.
Could I ask one last question?
Yes,
for,
Coach.
Mr. Gray, I didn't even think to ask this before, but the canopy request, you don't foresee any issues with anything that changes on Highway 5? We're talking about Georgia Department of Transportation doing something there. So getting closer to the road isn't going to cause a problem in this particular
Oh,
footprint?
if that project becomes into fruition, they will either take the building or a significant part of that property. So if the canopy is there or not, that's still going to happen. Because they're taking roughly 24 to 30 feet almost from that part, so. But again, it may not happen between 5 and 10 years, so that's what the applicant is willing to take that risk with.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. If we were to table these items, I'm assuming that we would just need to go ahead and table all of them rather than just looking at, or do we, is that okay? And if we table it to that next round of meetings, will that allow staff and council to have, okay, good. I feel good with that then, okay. Then, in that case, I'm going to make a motion that we table item 25-2 and 3 to the meetings of May 29th and June 2nd.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. I have a motion to table item 25-213 to the meetings of May the 29th and June 2nd. May I have a second, please? Thank you, Councilman Watts. Has been properly moved in second by the chair and second by Councilmember Watts to table item 25-213 to the meetings of May 29th and June 2nd. And I ask that staff give us a recommendation as well for the questions that were asked about parking spaces and all of that in the city. All those in favor of tabling this item, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. 25-213 is tabled to the meetings of May 29th and June 2nd.
Thank you. And
You're
then,
welcome.
with that said, I would make a motion that we table item 25-214 to the meetings of May, I just lost it, May 29th and June 2nd.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have a motion to table item 25-214 to the meetings of May 29th and June 2nd, 2025. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Councilman Estes. It's been properly moved in second to table item C. Do we have any comments, questions, or concerns as it relates to this item? I don't see any. All those in favor of tabling 25-214 to the meetings of May 29th and June 2nd, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. 25-214 is tabled.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Mhm.
And then this last one is item 25, oh, sorry, pop-ups. 25-215, and I will make a motion that we table this item as well to the meetings of May 29th and June 2nd.
Thank you so much, Madam Chairman. I have a motion to table this item as well, which is in coordinating with the last three, item 25-215, to the meetings of May 29th, June 2nd, 2025. Do we have any concerns, comments, questions from council?
Second.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Councilman Estes. I'm jumping the gun. So it's been properly moved in second. Are there any concerns? If not, all those in favor of tabling item 25-215 to the meetings of May 29th and June 2nd, 2025, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. 25-215 is tabled as well.
Thank you. Thank you all for your assistance with those items. Madam Mayor, that is all that we have this evening for planning and development.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. You have the next committee, Public Improvement and Beautification.
Yes, ma'am, and we have no business this evening for public improvement and beautification.
Thank you so much. I'll ask the Mayor Pro Tem to take Public Relations Committee and the Public Safety Committee.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business under the Public Relations Committee at this time. Under Public Safety Committee, however, we do have one item, and that is to hold a public hearing and consider a request for the transfer of location for the alcoholic beverage license for the on-premises sale and consumption of wine and malt beverages and spirituous liquor at the following location. Tees Brunch Bar LLC is the licensee, and the location is 6700 Douglas Boulevard, Suite 2000. The proposed location is 12377 Veterans Memorial Highway. The agent outlet manager is Tanisha Forts. Required fees have been paid into the Finance Department. Ms. Forts, do you have anything to add to the application at this time?
No, sir. How you guys doing?
Okay. Before we have the hearing, any comments or questions from council? Madam Mayor?
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, for recognizing me. I know you're not the vice chair, it's Councilman Watts, but he has the next committee. And I just wanted to know that, just for the record, I did speak with staff, our CFO, Assistant City Manager, and Deputy City Manager, and the reason why we're bringing this issue before the council is because of the location change and not just agent outlet manager, because we know Ms. Force has had several businesses and has had liquor license. So in the future, if it's just changing agent outlet manager or something like that, you would not have to come before the council. It would go before the city manager and or the police department, which we changed at our last meeting. But because it's a change of location, you had to come in this time. So we appreciate your understanding and flexibility and for investing in the community. But that is the answer. Because it's a location change, you had to come in person. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. You clarified it much better than I could have. Okay, at this time, I will open the floor for a public hearing for anyone who would like to speak either in favor or against this particular motion. Seeing as we have no takers at this time, then I will close the public hearing, and I will propose that we place item 25-232 into the form of a motion for approval.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. I have a motion to approve. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you. Councilman Estes, it's been properly moved in second, moved by Mayor Pro Tem, acting as the chair, and a second by Councilmember Estes, to approve item 25-232. Do we have any questions, comments, concerns from council? None, and the police department has not raised any concerns. We haven't had any issues. So all those in favor of approving this item, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. 25-232 is unanimously approved. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. That is all we have under the Public Safety Committee at this time.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. We'll move on to Technology Committee, chaired by Councilmember Elena. Recreation, Culture, and Tourism, Councilmember Watts.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business tonight in recreation, culture, and tourism.
Thank you, sir. Councilmember Elena Hudson, would you mind taking Technology Committee and Transportation Committee?
Yes, ma'am, Madam Mayor. We have no business under the Technology Committee this evening. We've got no business under the Transportation Committee this evening.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate you handling the transportation for me. So we'll move on then to other business. Do we have any other business to come before council tonight from the elected officials? No? All righty. We did have the Taste of Douglasville this past weekend. It was well-attended. I believe, I was looking to see with Ms. Leitner, I think she said it was 3,500 people or something. It was a lot of folks. It started out raining, but it turned out very nice. It was warm, and Mayor Pro Tem has a tan. He was out there all day.
Not too long.
But it was really well-attended. Lots of good food and lots of fun for the community. So that was the 32nd year of the Taste of Douglasville, and it was held this year at the Town Green as it was last year. So it was well-attended. I don't think we have any other business outside of that. Thank you, Mr. Dotson. And we do this Thursday, coming up is the Metro Atlanta Mayors Association, MAMA, which I'm the vice chair of, and we'll host the Metro Mayors, and we'll be at Jesse Davis Park. We'll have our meeting, and then we have a tour going to Riverside Parkway to look at data centers. I know a lot of the mayors are concerned. The mayor of Decatur, more specifically in Fayetteville, have proposals on the table, and so that's a hot topic, and they chose to come to Douglasville. So we look forward to hosting them. I think it's about 30. I'm not sure how many Metro mayors will come, but so that would be nice to have them in our community.
Vice Chair makes you mama.
I'm vice chair of MAMA.
Mama.
Oh, mama. Any other announcements or anything? Okay, if not, we'll move on then to updates of our city staff. Our city attorney, Mr. Joel Dodson.
No business, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Dodson. Staff attorney, Ms. Miranda Jordan.
No business, Madam Mayor, thank you.
You're welcome, thank you. Our police department, our deputy chief, J.R. Davison.
No business, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, deputy chief. Our assistant city manager from the city manager's department, Ms.
No
Chelsea
business,
Jackson.
Madam Mayor. Thank you.
You're welcome. Comments from citizens and delegates. If you sustain the meeting and you'd like to speak to us, please come forward, give us your name and address for the record, and you have 5 minutes to talk to us about any business germane to the city of Douglasville. Okay, Ms. Cindy?
Cindy Welch, 3002 Concord Way. I only have a question. And I know you all are familiar and you're tired of hearing of Stewart Mill Road, but who is responsible for that road? Is it this, I mean, the city was wonderful and put that extra area in coming out of Kohl's Shopping Center. But I sat at the entrance to our subdivision the other day trying to get out. And I counted, when I started counting, and there'd already been cars go by, 37 cars went down that road. And they're flying down the road. And I don't know if I go to the city, if I go to the county, you know, if somebody puts up a new traffic thing that says 35 miles an hour. I mean, we just can't get out of that neighborhood anymore because they come around from Chapel Hill and they're flying.
Yeah. When it's city-county road, which that one is, it reverts to the county. But I can ask our transportation, Deputy City Manager?
Yes, we can get with the county and make sure that she speaks with the correct person that's over the transportation at the county.
Yes, because it's county. When it's city and county, it reverts to the county. So
Can we
that's
build a
what we would need
bridge
to
over the
speak to.
top? So
Pardon me?
I said, can we build a bridge over the top so we can get out
No,
below?
we're not going to do that.
Okay, well,
Well,
you know,
thank
I didn't know who to go to, but I thought, how many cars do I have to wait for? And I
Wow.
counted 37.
That's a
And
lot.
all of them are just flying down Stewart Mill Road.
Well, I'm glad no one's gotten hurt, so.
Yeah, well, there was a bad accident at Stewart Mill in Chapel Hill 2 nights ago. Lots of blue lights, red lights, fire trucks.
Wow.
It was a mess. Yeah. So,
Well, thank you so
very
much. Thank you for bringing it to our attention. Yes, ma'am. Any other comments from citizens and delegates? If not, and we don't have any other business to come before council tonight, this meeting is adjourned.